So Halloween, what would you do for Halloween?
Then,
When I was a kid, what would you do for Halloween? Tell me.
you know how that started.
No,
It's just going to be me and Doug and
No.
Brandon and you.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, that's all it's going to be to start with. And then, naturally, Stephanie and Wade,
Yeah.
but that's about it. But then when I talked to the other people like Mitchell and David, and I was like, I want part of that.
Well, part of what?
That Halloween spook house.
So he's not explaining what he did. So I'm going to explain it and then I'm going to let you keep talking. So we lived in a log cabin. It was about 3,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
The top 2 floors were it was really one floor with a loft and a basement, a full basement. The top floor and the loft were all big, would you say, hand-hewn logs?
178 years old when we lived there.
Yeah, it was 180 years old when we lived there. It had huge stained glass windows on either side of this rock fireplace. And it was just beautiful. And then underneath was this cinder block basement, huge basement. It had, 2 bedrooms, a living room, a bathroom, and a laundry room downstairs. That was just cinder block and doors. So Daddy and his friends and family members turned it into a haunted house, which we called a spook house, and for Halloween. And it was epic. It wasn't minor. It was, let me just say this. My daddy threw chicken guts at me in the spook house. Accurate? Is that accurate?
That's pretty close.
It was accurate. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So how many adults did that?
I think it was 12, 14 of us, I think, all together. Put it all together. There was a bunch. Gerald Rollins, you remember him? He was in there.
Do I remember him? He scared the shit out of me. He has more hair on his body, and he put a Wolfman mask on and took his shirt off, and I was done. He looked just like Wolfman. He was you put wire. We had this laundry room, and they covered the door with like chicken wire and put him behind the chicken wire like they had caught the Wolfman, and he was caged in my laundry room. It was so scary. Yes, I remember it.
This is hilarious.
I remember it. And Phyllis was in one room with a big cauldron and 2 other people dressed as witches. Jan was dressed as like Bride of Frankenstein in a coffin. You remember that?
Yeah,
and when you walk by her, she'd sit up and touch you. It was so scary.
Dark in there, too.
Oh, my God.
Plus, you just went a half a mile down the woods to get there.
Yes. And then you had like wrecked cars on the driveway. You had dead bodies hanging from the trees. It was crazy.
It was crazy. It got a little out of hand.
It did get a little out of hand.
Yeah.
But it was really fun.
We actually hauled dirt in there and put graves in the basement.
Yes, you did. Inside the house. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You guys were really creative.
Yeah.
You did a good job. You were a surgeon, and Joyce was your patient, and you threw chicken guts at everybody who came through there. How much chicken guts did you
I don't
have?
remember. It's a good bit, though.
Because you'd have to refill, wouldn't you? Every time. I went through it with Casey Teal, and I thought Casey Teal was going to rip my arm out of socket. He wanted to get out of there so fast. He was scared to death. And I had the biggest crush on Casey Teal my entire life. So I was so excited to go through this spook house with Casey. And he was, he could not get out the back door fast enough. I was scared to death. It was really scary.
It was pretty bad.
It was really scary. And then your brother, oh my God. I remember they would make everybody stay inside on the main level. And then you go down these stairs to the basement where the spook house was, right? And they had people who would take you down. Tilda was one of the people who was like the guide. But every once in a while, my Uncle Steve would come up the stairs
Crawling.
in a sombrero. And he had his pant legs rolled up. I don't know what he was doing in the spook house that required that he rolled his pant legs up. He's probably in some kind of costume. But he would act out this whole thing. They're killing me. I'm almost dead. Don't make me go back. Don't make me, just like flailing around. How likely is it that he was drinking?
Pretty likely.
Back in 1982? Probably.
Yeah, probably does.
And he probably wasn't the only one. But my goodness, between that and George Haynes was outside jumping on cars as people drove down the driveway. He'd just jump on a car.
You remember he had that dumb bull pulling that string on it out there?
Sorry, I do.
Had such a eerie sound to it. Some people wouldn't even hardly get out of the car, come in the house.
So people who don't know what that is, it's like a metal bucket,
Gallon metal can.
gallon metal can, and you stick a hole in the end of it, and you put a piece of waxed string in it. You can like tie a knot in it and keep it in the hole. And then when you drag your fingers on the waxed string, it echoes inside that can, and it sounds so scary in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you're off in the dark place, middle of the woods, it scared me.
It's scary. I mean, it sounds like an animal or maybe a poltergeist or it's really scary. They were awesome. So you're pretty reliable on that way. Halloween was awesome every year. It was fun.